people tend to follow leaders who have their ducks in a row, right? And what I'm talking about is just like your presence, how you operate, how you communicate. Like you're saying so many things before you even open your mouth, right? And it's like, man, that guy's got something going on. And like, this isn't like a conscious thing that they're thinking. They're just like, that seems attractive, right? And we move towards things that we want to be like, right? We don't do what we're told, we do what we see, we do what we observe, right? Just like our kids, right? So that's why we want to start with that, because hey, without that, they're not going to follow you anyways, right? People don't quit an organization, they quit a boss, they quit a leader, all right? So after that is set, right, if that's the foundation of this, let's talk about how do we roll this out, and we dig into the staff, we dig into our team, and like, how do we make this work on an everyday type of level? If you don't know me, I'm 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗍𝗍, owner, founder, man leadership. We help small business owners and their teams, one, create an efficient operation, streamlined, backed by a united team of high performers, of thoroughbreds, right, not donkeys. Also bonus points if they love what they do. All right, so today we're talking about accountability. We're talking about operational accountability. We're talking about accountability that is collaborative. It's two-way, right? And I know it's a scary thing because we're going to yell at people. That's not the case. That's not what we're talking about. We're going to give you a really good way of how to do that right, okay? All right, so let's dig in. So the goal of leadership is exactly what I just told you, okay? What we want to do is develop a streamlined, efficient operation so we're not pulling our hair out. I promise I didn't pull mine out. I was just bald since I was 20, okay? I get that from my father. And then you want to back that by a united team. I say all the time, like, we're wearing the same color, same team, right? So no silos in there. High performing, higher thoroughbreds. You can only take a donkey so far, right? Now, I love training, I love productivity, but you can only take a donkey so far, all right? And then bonus points if they love what they do. Here's a trend. Happy people tend to do more work faster and more accurately. That's going to help you serve more people. That's going to help you further your mission. That's going to keep them happy. Literally all ships are going to rise with that tide. So this is like the big framework. And these are the 4 big things that I usually get approached on that we like to input. We're going to hone in on one of them today, okay? And it's the one that is the most common problem that I address, the number 1 question that I get, which is accountability. So how do I put accountability into my business? All right, well, first step is we need to know what the heck accountability is, right? And what it is the glue that holds these 2 things. We have a commitment and an expectation, and then what we have is a result that we want them to get. Right? Doesn't always happen, right? At the end of the day, if you ever heard any leader in any operation say, I should just do it myself, or I'll just take care of all of it myself, right? And it's like, we're probably lacking accountability. You'll see one where we got some red flags that we'll go through, right? But I'm going to go as far as saying, we got CEOs, presidents, all those types of things. I want you to rename yourself right now, and you're a CAO. You're a Chief Accountability Officer, right? Your job is to hold everyone else accountable in the building without having them hate you. I'm about to teach you how right now. All right, what are those red flags? 1, low revenue per head count. This is very industry specific, but get to know that number for your industry. And like, if it's super low, you have a problem, right? It means you got a whole bunch of lazy people on your team, right? And why are they lazy? Because you didn't hold them accountable to anything. You didn't make them commit to anything. They probably don't even know what they're supposed to be doing, to be honest with you. Unclear metrics, like people just don't know where they stand or what their goals are or what their KPIs are, or literally anything like that. Hidden expenses, money is just being drained. Credit cards are high. Low sales rates. Like if it's like industry is like 70 and we're operating like 45, like what the heck, something's wrong. Okay, high employee churn, people are quitting. Complaining. This could be both ways. You, as the owner, operator, leader, and or your staff, right? Probably both ways. You'll see the next one down there is finger pointing. He said, she said, they were supposed to, I was supposed to. Usually it's none of this, of like, this is my fault. I should take accountability of this. And then the owner resents the team. Maybe you or someone you know, like I know a friend who, like their people on their team seem to be happier and enjoying themselves more than the owner or operator is, right? That's how you know you got a problem. Unfinished projects, missed deadlines. One of my favorites and most common is owner-operator bottlenecks. Oh, yeah. That means the 97 things that you have in your head that you created without telling anyone, and you didn't write them down at all, but everyone's expected to do them exactly how they are in your head. If everyone comes to you to solve all of their problems, it's because you've conditioned them to do so. So what is accountability? Accountability equals expectations plus measurement times, and we'll talk about why the last part is multiplied, reinforcement. Okay, let's break this down. Accountability equals expectations plus measurement times reinforcement. Let's start with expectations. What the heck are expectations? Two types of expectations. Okay, first one, let's talk about global. That's where I always like to start. What are global expectations? So think organizational. What's our mission? Like, sometimes it's semantics, but like mission, vision, right? Brand promise. Key important one, core values, right? And don't think like, I've got 9 of them, everyone's gonna remember. Humans remember 3 things. You ever hear anybody say, you know, like A, B, C, D, E? No, what do they say? A, B, C. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 7, 4. Like 1, 2, 3. Right? So I always say like 3 to 5. But those are your organizational, global expectations that you're setting. That is the first thing. It's like, here's what we're about. Here's how we're going to behave. Here's how we're going to operate. Okay? First level of expectations. Next level is the local or the micro. Right? Those micro expectations, now we're talking about the person, the individual, the role. So now we're talking about the job description, the role clarity guide. What does winning look like? What are their key result responsibilities? It can even get as granular as the standard operating procedure, the checklist, the template, right? Those are, we're talking very specific expectations for that person. What I like to do, super tactical tip, super secret ninja hack, by the way, ninjas hate leaves, if you were wondering, is when you create their role clarity guide, at the bottom of their role clarity guide or their job description, I call it role clarity guides, what I'll put in there is what playbooks are associated with this role. And then I'll make a list. I'm a Google guy, so I'll literally put the links to those playbooks right there. And then I'll put what are the KPIs that this person is responsible for, right? They will know where they stand and they will know what is expected of them. And we're going to talk about it. This isn't like, here's what you need to do. And we're going to have a discussion about it in the hiring process. So before I even step into this team, I know exactly what I'm getting into, right, on a tactical level, okay? So we got vision, mission, core values, critical actions, brand promise. That's global, right? Organizational, the big stuff. And then we've got the local piece, which is the role clarity guide, the SOPs, the guidelines, the checklist, all of those types of things, okay? So expectations. If you don't have those, you will not hold anyone accountable. Point blank. It's not even fair for you to, right? Not that everything's got to be fair, but like you're just going to be called a blindsider, right? Because like I thought that I had told you at one point 4 years ago that you were supposed to do X, and I'm yelling at you today about Y, and you're like, why is he yelling at me? I don't know, right? But I came in angry, and that number just happened to slap me across the face when I walked into my building, right? Or like I woke up and my bank account was low, so I'm gonna go yell at my sales team, right? And it's like, well, do they even know what numbers they're supposed to hit? Okay, so expectations, incredibly, incredibly important. That's the base of all of it, okay? Plus measurement, okay? What the heck does measurement mean? Well, I'll tell you this, the most powerful form of measurement is self-assessment, right? Self-evaluation. So how do we self-evaluate? Okay, well, we have to build a tool in order to self-evaluate. Right? So I'm going to go back to that statement I said over and over again. Everyone always knows where they stand because all they have to do is pull the role clarity guide out, use a traffic light of red, yellow, green, or emergency red flashing, and they're going to know, am I doing a good job? Because this is what they said my job is, am I doing those things? Okay? So build a really simple self-evaluation tool. And then one of my favorite ways too is to literally combine that with the leader evaluation. Right, so if I'm the whatever, operations president, vice president, whatever, and I got a team member in, I'm immediately coming in with their role clarity guide on a regular basis because that's how we know what we're even supposed to be talking about. And I'm going to say, hey, walk me through where you're at. Hey, bucket number 1, red, yellow, green. Yellow. All right, why are we yellow? Well, because of plan A, plan B, and here's my plan B, it's a green. Awesome, cool. Where are you at with bucket number 2? They said green. And I'm like, ooh, I actually have you at red. Let's talk. Why do you at green? Why am I at red? Where did that come from? Walk me through how you got there. But by the end of that, they've got their evaluation. I got my evaluation. Is that really the important part? No, the conversation is, right? How can I support you? You have a coaching opportunity there. You have a training opportunity there. You can provide the resources. Other forms of measurement come in the form of timelines, deadlines, a scorecard, which is kind of like the red, yellow, green. Leaderboards. I love leaderboards. Competition breeds success. I'm a sports guy, so like we know who's winning the game. And we know who the starters are and who the backups are and who's on the bench. Right? That's my culture. Does it have to be yours? No, but I can tell you it works. Right? We've worked in 68 different companies now, and I can tell you a leaderboard works. It's just a matter of how you do it. So what would we want to compete on? Is it culture? Is it sales numbers? Right? Is it efficiency? Is it productivity? You can get very creative with that. But I can tell you this, what you focus on and what you measure is probably going to improve. KPIs, key performance indicators. What numbers are people responsible for, and do they know it? Usually it's one of two things. It's a goal I'm trying to hit, or something that I'm always trying to improve. Everyone should have at least one number they're responsible for, okay? And that number could be, it's your job to move 100 boxes a day. That's fine. So that's like a goal I'm trying to achieve. Or maybe it's like an efficiency number where like last month it was 50, this month it's 52. Now comes the fun part, or also the most unsexy part of leadership. The part where like no one markets this part, right? And it's the reinforcement. Why is it multiplied? Because you have to do it so much.
Yes.
Okay? Here's the key. The reason we have those red flags, the reason why accountability is like the number one thing missing, especially in like micro small business of like under 100 team, under 100 person team, is because we have to tell people that they might be doing something wrong or that they're doing a bad job, and we're really not good with that. Like it's really uncomfortable, right? And it's because we come up with that and we're like, that's a really hard conversation. That's uncomfortable. That's a tough talk. Because we think it's like we have to be like, you suck. Get better, right? It's like, no, that's not how you have to do that, right? So let's break reinforcement down. So two things. One is recognition and reward. That's the fun part. However, even though it's the fun part, it's the thing we miss most often.
Yeah.
Because it's really just, you did that wrong, you did this wrong, this is missing, we have a problem here. Fire, 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 right? When we're talking about reinforcement, and the reason why I say it's the tiny stuff, like it's the high five in the hallway, it's the, hey, good job with box number 46. That one was really heavy. Thank you so much, great work, right? It's the reward in front of the whole team, right? It can be, hey, Crystal is the culture champion of the month, right? And we're talking to our staff meeting, and she's got, it's a $100 gift card right here, bam. So I want you to think random, and I want you to think varying levels of intensity or reward, basically, when it comes to that. It can be a high five, it can be $1,000 bonus, and everything in between. You can get really creative with that and have fun. But be specific, right? Because only a certain number, a percentage of our personalities are like, the love language is like good job, and that's all they need, right? Most of us need something specific that we did good at.
Yes.
Okay? And it might sound a little simple, it might sound a little elementary, like the dog sat, I gave him a treat. We're humans, right? We like to hear good stuff, right? When it says good job with that presentation, guess what I want to do more of?
Yep.
The presentation. Hey, section number 4, that presentation really sucked, right? Now what am I going to think about the whole time? How I can make number 4 better, not the people that I'm trying to serve, okay? So it's tiny stuff, but you can be really creative and have fun with it, okay? Close that loop, that gap, right? It's not like, hey, last November, you did a really good job. They're like, he's just making that up. Like, there's, you don't even know what he's talking about, right? Versus like at lunch or this morning, right? But we have to remember and be intentional with that. Now, the not so fun part is the constructive part. How do we do that really well? How do we give feedback? Well, we don't just say, you suck, do better. What we say is, because they know the expectation, we say, hey, last month, 70% close rate was the goal. You were at 50. How are you doing with that? How can I help? What do you need to improve to do better next time? Right? We're asking the question. And also, truth, facts, data. If you go into that going, I feel like you're not doing good. Like, that's just all emotion. Nothing to lead with, okay? So truth, facts, and data, and you facilitate the conversation. It's collaborative. The goal is improvement and coaching, okay? What does that sound like? Meetings. You want to have meetings with your people, okay? End of week reports of like, what was the best part about your week? What was the worst part about your week, right? And then we even do some surveys as well. 3 steps to better accountability, and then we hopefully have time for a question. One, set the expectations globally and locally. Start with something. Don't think, I got to do this perfect. No, you don't. Unless we have anybody pouring concrete in here, we're not pouring concrete. Like, this is like small business. We're moving, we're shaking, we're creating. Right? And then make it some sort of assessment tool. I like red, yellow, green. Obviously, both of us like red, yellow, green because it works, it's functional. And then the last piece is reinforce the good behavior, correct the bad behavior. How do we correct it? Collaboratively. State the facts, ask how you can help. Right? Because now it's like we talked about the elephant, and now we're just having a conversation of how we can get better. Okay? So that's not a role problem, right? That's an effort problem. It's a character problem. It's a culture problem. So I'm gonna go ask you with this. You ready for this? Shouldn't have hired him in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? And every single time, I mean, multiple times a week, I get the call. It's like, hey, can I talk to you about? And I'm like, you should fire him. Right? And also, when you fire them, tell them that it's your fault, but you own the company and you can't fire yourself.
Oh, that's
That was good.
But here's the thing, it's true. That's why I say, like, hire slow. Like, here's what my offensive line coach used to say. There's 5 offensive linemen. He'd say, I'll play with 4 if I have to. Because at the end of the day, 4 that are bought into the mission are better than 5, and the 5th one's over here doing who knows what.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I would say to that. And at some point, I always say, you hired them, so put the effort in. Right? To get them there. But at some point when it's like, it's 7 times if there's no effort, I think it's time for us to part ways.
What if it's a
You
friend?
probably know if you're asking.
Yeah, I will tell you it doesn't matter. I have fired friends. It's not fun. But I tell you this, if you look at the way that you fire them as a way of like, I'm not firing you because you don't really want to be here anyways. I'm going to help you launch into the thing that you were born to do. Right?
I do believe that.
So that's the way that I look at it. Like, I'm not letting you go. I'm helping launch you to where you really are meant to be. So this one came up in the last session, actually. And I'll tell you this, like, you need a mentor, you need a coach, you need someone, here's the key, that needs absolutely nothing from you.
Got it.
To speak into your life and tell you the thing. Okay, and the last one was going to be my spouse. They're probably attached to your victory or failure.
For sure.
Right? Like, they're going to give you the truth. You need someone who needs nothing from you. Okay? I can talk all day, obviously, on this. If you got more questions, approach me. My name is 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗍𝗍, owner, founder of Mayner Leadership. This is Crystal Harris. We appreciate you guys so much.